Yes. Here we are at the podcast and Popup.
Yes, sir.
My name is Randy.
Hey, this is Rico.
And man, today is a very important day, bro.
Yeah, let's talk about today.
Man, we got somebody here, dude, that man, I've been working with him for a few years now. He got so much going on, man, and he takes care of the community in the best way he knows how, and yet facilitates so many things for starting businesses, a different kind of startups, different kind of people that just are looking to get their name out there.
Yeah.
And not only that, he's also involved in the city, meetings with mayors, overlooking leases, overlooking nonprofits.
Yeah.
And you start to think, you're like, man, this guy must be like some kind of, just super sane. Like how you get all this done,
Yeah.
But man, no hold back, no further ado. Today we got the executive director of Mass District.
That's right.
Artwalk and the whole Mass District community. Didn't lag you, everyone.
Hey.
Yes. How you feeling, bro?
A great intro. What's up, my guys?
What's up, my guys?
Right. How you feeling, bro?
Man, feeling good. We have an art walk night happening right now on the other side of this wall, and a little rainy. We all knew that coming into it, so we got a good setup in here. Comfy, cozy, doing our thing.
And the rain don't really stop anything, even though it stopped the actual people interacting,
traffic, stuff like that. Yeah,
but it doesn't stop the movement that is Artwalk and the Fort Lauderdale Artwalk.
Right.
So
I'll say it also doesn't stop some of the awesome media, because I kind of know some guys.
Keep it
Let me just say,
keep it rolling.
Yeah. Media can make it look like there was thousands of people there. Y'all know what's up.
That's what we're gonna do.
Exactly.
Man, and bro, I do have a few questions for you, but we're gonna just make it seem like just a regular conversation, because I talk to you all the time.
Absolutely.
And it's gonna be a good interview, because I don't feel like I have to read questions, even though I have some in the tuck in case you give me. But I just want to say, bro, how did you get involved with Mass District, and what does Mass District mean to you?
For sure. Yeah. Quick, very abbreviated history, but we're in the neighborhood here of Flagler Village. Flagler Village started up, and they needed a president. And they asked me, could you do the president for this neighborhood association? The arts were really starting to come together. We have our fellow art district, Fat Village, shout out to them. And this area was starting to have a couple people move into it, businesses move in and start to have a creative focus in their business. So the neighborhood said, hey, let's have a creative arts committee. Or I said, let's have a creative arts committee. And we did a committee, and people from Fat Village, people from what wasn't yet called Mass District, had met on that committee, and we kind of birthed the Mass District out of that creative arts committee. Awesome story. Yeah. Also a neighboring neighborhood, Progresso Village, where we have something like Thrive coming up. That's in there. That was part of the mix too, in helping speak to that. Those kind of the two big ones there. So absolutely an awesome little experience with that. And it didn't have a name yet. It was just like, let's, I called it Any 4th Ave, because this is Northeast 4th Ave. So like we had a little mini graphic for like these art walks, and this little art walk was starting, which we'll talk about that. But it had a little thing. Everyone's like, well, I don't like it. I'm like, well, come up with a name, guys. Come on. I'm in the neighborhood. You're in the neighborhood. Let's go.
Right.
So there was several names that was put in like a box, if you will, to pick from and have the businesses vote on, informally vote on. One was called North End. One was called Annex. And then Mass District and Mass was the other one. And the group voted for Mass. That was kind of how it got in and then from there organized itself as a nonprofit. An association for businesses and creatives.
Can you tell us what, so Mass District, what does that stand for?
Yeah, it is an acronym. This is the one thing there's a million things we got to do in a day with Mass, so we're not there right now, but it stands for Music and Arts South of Sunrise Why Sunrise? North to my north, right here, there's Sunrise Boulevard.
Correct.
But it can go north of Sunrise. It could be Man's District, maybe. I don't know if you say that now, but Man's, whatever. But it could be north of Sunrise. If there's an awesome collab, of course, it's a network more. So it's funny. Here's a cool story too. So when District started, I love the Mass. I don't like personally the District one as much
because it's making
it. Well, for me, I just maybe because of the government stuff, I think of it very governmentally. You know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? We all have different perceptions. So a good friend of mine who came into Mass, shout out to Chloe, the Gemini Rising, Chloe. She came in and she was wanting to do a little media. She was doing her stuff. She hosts various yoga sessions and things. Beautiful stuff she's doing at that time. This is quite in the early days. And she's like sitting with me and she's like, I just love the District part. And I'm thinking, wow. And Chloe's with yoga and stuff, and that's not a stereotypical thing, more so just to paint the picture of, I'm thinking of the government thing, and she's totally seen District in another way. Wow. And that's an exact beautiful thing of Mass District, man. Correct. That's the idea. Creatives. Yeah. We want that. We want
different
that,
opinions,
that thing.
Coming all, they're creating something beautiful.
100%. So yeah, that's kind of a story there. I do think though the South of Sunrise can eventually change. So we've thought of, do we come up with another acronym? Someone said music and arts, soul and style. I'm like, soul and style, let's go, or something, or there's actually a thing. So that's probably where that'll go. Maybe we put something out to various feelers of people to think of things and come up, because there's so much creativity in that stuff. That's right. Or it just is more so just called mass. It's a mass. It's a massive thing. But for me, I my current speak to this day now is it's a network. It's a network. And I want to give an awesome shout out to Ed Burnett. Ed was our first executive director. I was president of Flagler at the time. So I said, Ed, you got the director. I was a board member on Mass. I was a board member. But so I've been on both sides. Mass is organized where you have a voting block of board members who don't necessarily have like compensation stuff. It's more of a volunteer.
Right, it's volunteer.
Yes. And then you have the exec director and the team with that. And there's money and there's not some money and there's money, but it's meant to be that kind of thing. It's by its bylaws, it's by law in the organization able to receive compensation and do that stuff. As to where a board member is not meant to do that. But the duties of the board members are things. They do have certain roles, but it's very advisory, very interjecting and doing things. It's not a day-to-day thing. The team of the exec director is supposed to help speak to that and do that, because that's their role. Very similar to like a condo association, right? Which I should say, I have my property here in Flagler Village that I since sold, but I was on that condo board. That really kind of got me into the nonprofit world of things. I learned what's called Robert's Rules of Order. That is a system that we use to conduct meetings, basically. Started out in England and made its way all the way here. Even our United States government uses forms of Robert's Rules of Order. It's still this day. They have their own little nuances, of course, but
I had to learn that too myself.
You learned it?
I'm on a board at my homeowners association.
So my man, come on, get that board. And I hit every position, everything. I went all the way to president. I said, sayonara, guys, I'm moving on.
Look, I'm just director, and I'm like, okay, I want to be out.
And we this is that was, I mean, it was intense. That board. They had kind of like, we had like how you see Republican Democrat. We had like they weren't Republican Democrat. They were probably mixed, but they were like two parties. And the vote. This is one of the elections. It got so hot. There's a 5-panel board. 4 people got elected. I got elected, and I was kind of on sort of like one party, one side, and then I think 2 others got elected from the other side, and then the 4th one was with me. He was like on our party. So it's like dead heat. And it's a 52-unit condo. That could be a lot to some people. That's really not a lot in today's day in an urban area. For sure. That's not a big.
I'm in the same boat. 52 units we have.
My man, it's not no lofts, is it? That's that's the. I was like, wait a minute,
no townhome.
I got you. Yeah, these were condos and just down the street here. But anyways, I got to the 5th position, and it was a deadlock tie between these 2 guys that always fought, like to where you almost need to separate them. Oh my god! And they got tied. So we brought our lawyer in that night to help run it, because we knew it might get a little hot. Right. And he did, and he's literally calling his office and studying case law, because there was one ballot that could not be counted technically, because state statute requires that you put your vote in a small envelope and then you put it in a big envelope. You have to put like double envelope it. Right. It's a matter of personal privacy or something like that. Maybe somebody in whatever story they looked up in the light and watched what somebody voted. Gotcha. Who knows? So it's supposed to help block that out. And the person who did that was also a lawyer who voted, and they
Oh.
forgot to put it in the thing. So then she's calling her lawyers and say, we can do it. And basically, the one guy who was kind of on our side, he's like, listen, man, I'll move on. He pulled me aside. He's like, do you just want to do whatever? And then as soon as he's saying, he might move on, they go, wait. And we walk all in.
Yeah.
They found a case study that they showed that they accepted it if the person was there to say, I'm comfortable for you to accept it. And guess what? She was there. And the guy said, are you comfortable to accept it? And she goes, yes, I am. So that lawyer asked that lawyer, and they're like, yes, they voted it, and he got in.
Wow.
He got in.
Wow,
So anyways,
dude.
this is like my prep work getting into this whole public world at my own, residence. And from there, again, we had money. That condo had like $200K outside of its reserves. You're probably going into your reserves.
Yeah.
Like how that works. We had all the reserves funded,
Yeah.
and there was literally like still $200K just sitting in the operating. And you're not supposed to do that in a condo.
Right.
Even nonprofits, like a Red Cross nonprofit can hold millions of dollars, but general nonprofits are meant to kind of take the money in and spend the money or budget the money out.
Right. You have
very similar to cities.
Yeah.
Our cities are supposed to take the money in and put it out. Doesn't mean that we blow all the money, but we
Can't
put
hold
it
on
in.
to it.
Right. It has to be allocated. It has to be, earmarked to go somewhere. And that then gets spent over time. Oh, wow. So it was crazy, bro. But that kind of got me into that. Then the neighborhood of Flagler needed some board members. Then they asked me, oh, you'd be a board member, but wait, can you do president? And then from there, we created Mass. And then Ed ended up coming to me. I had moved on from Flagler. Across the street from this window next to me, I built some creative studios. And just kind of, for a little gap period, just built some of my own companies in the Mass District, right?
Yeah.
And finished up with the presidency of Flagler. And ended up, I didn't cycle back to the board of Mass, so I just had a little window. Still doing Artwalk and stuff, and we'll talk about that whole history of Artwalk. But anyways, they came to me though after like 4 months or something. I built all these studios. There's 10 studios.
Yeah.
Two of them were cafe style place studio. I call them studios. It's just my internal way to say it, but they're cafes. And then 8 of the studios were actual like creative rooms for artists and creatives to come in and rent, do their thing. Because when you have a big a big place you're going to rent, it's very expensive for an emerging business in general, let alone a creative.
Yeah, to try to afford it to get in.
Right. But then if you can break it up, you can take this room, and then we have a common area, and then I can charge kind of a lot in that room, but for them it's not a lot. But then we do that towards a bunch of the rooms, and it actually comes up and we make some money. Correct, so the landlord there partnered with me. We did that. I learned some excellent lessons, how to write. We talk about leases, how to write leases, because bro, I was writing this is funny, but we had one tenant that just didn't open, like their cafe type thing. Right. And there's stories both to their point and to the point of the landlord and management that I was doing. Both of us have valid reasons why whatever didn't happen. But there's things I learned, like I had no language in that lease about like having to be open. Or you could write that like in a pilot mode, and then it means we can re-meet and we will come up with some baseline of being open again, things like that. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. So it was a very smart lesson that I had to learn, a good lesson to learn, to say, you need to have that kind of, and there's a bunch more layers of that too. Right. But like the malls, think about the mall. You want to have, Sparrow, right? Yeah, the little Sparrow pizza places. They have to sign on and be open, and all of them have to agree to that. I know that because a client of mine, Chicken Cone, shout out Chicken Cone, they took a space over in Sawgrass, and they explained to me the whole system there. I mean, they explained to me. I went through it with them, going through that, and they just have to be open. There is no, that's it. You cannot. Now, maybe a hurricane comes, that's all different, obviously. But you have to be open for the mall's hours. The mall calls that. So this is kind of like that model for that business, and all that stuff. So great lesson though.
I want to ask you, what sparked your drive? Like what? What was that one thing that that just came across your mind, like or piece of energy that's like, okay, I have to do this?
Absolutely. That's a great question. Let me come back though. Not yet, but I'll come back. I just want to say how I actually assumed the title of executive director of Mass. Right. I was with Mass. I created Mass with the team. We were all there from the beginning, but I held both roles. So I'll just hold that because that's a cool story too. Short story. We'll make it short. We'll make it long. We'll edit it out, man. We got this. So the spark thing goes all the way back to growing up in home. My house. My mom was a very, what I call a big tent person. We could be, playing out in the trees or climbing trees, throwing the ball, whatever, riding bikes, that. My mom, hey, let's go, come on. She was that community kids in the community would just come and sit and talk with my mom. My mom would just sit there and have conversations, with anybody in the community. And there's a lot of kids at that time in that neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale. I'm born and raised in Fort Lauderdale. That part of Fort Lauderdale did have a lot of children there, let alone my family, which was 5 kids, my immediate family of siblings. So we ended up we ended up, you know, kind of observing our mom do that. And my mom really had a passion for that. She loved the government in the sense of like, I want to be a participant in society.
Right.
I want
in
to make change.
Okay.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that was kind of growing up in that, you know, and it's inspiring in many ways. And I'm the firstborn of my family. I grew up as the firstborn. So, you know, I'm always, I don't want to say that I had to do a million things. Of course I did, but it just was there, you know, like really there in my case. So that really, I took that to heart, you know, I took that to heart. Doesn't mean that the next day I'm like, let's create mass district. It sets a little something, you know? So I had a very lucrative career at the time, a job in IT and software at a company, which actually now has the name of the Miami Arena, Kaseya. The Kaseya Center.
Kaseya
That's
Center.
my company that I worked for 5 years. So shout out Kaseya. Excellent company, sent me around the world, made some good money. I was in my mid 20s making like 150 G's with bonuses and stuff.
Ooh-wee.
I was really ahead. And that was back then. That was in the 5 years from 09 to 13. And that's clean years. I had literally I started in January and I resigned in December. So I actually had a full 5 years in that company, which in software, that's very fast company. That was like my final year. I started getting bonuses, and I always had bonuses, but we were like really making some money. So that company is really to this day only growing. The company sold. So I had stock in the company, which stock meant nothing in a private company unless it sold, and it sold.
Wow.
And the owners were awesome. They gave extra bonuses. They're just really, really great company. Went around the world, all the way to New Zealand. That's how far I went. And amongst other parts of the world. And there were offices everywhere. So it was awesome, you know, to do that. But at the same time, this is part of the spark. At the same time, I just knew, and this is nothing against anything that my employers or nothing, but I just knew this is stuff that is great. It's good. It's doing my thing. I'm going through my, in this case, tech boot camp, because it's so interesting software work we're doing. But I just knew it wasn't the long term. It wasn't about the money. I'll blow it up. And I see myself, just analyzing my own self, I go through like blow it up cycles. You know, now I don't mean to be reckless. A little, when you're a bachelor, sometimes you get like that, you know, just, hey, let's just do something new. Right. But it's still structured. You know, it's like, this is going to be the next chapter of my life kind of thing. So I ended up just resigning, and the company wanted me to go back to Miami full time. So I was in Fort Lauderdale and Miami, and I was like, that's cool for a season, but I live here, man. I'm just not gonna try. I just think that's a very unnatural way to live. You know, now it's a little different. You have like Brightline, you have trains. You could actually possibly get there pretty quick, and it could be relaxing. I was doing tri-rail or transfer, so I'm just man. It was crazy.
Is Kaseya Center, I guess, going back. Ultimate Software? Yeah,
it's a different. They hit different. Okay. Kaseya is what we call like a remote management software, where basically they have IT tools. They make software for IT guys to then manage computers. So you can like install like a Kaseya agent, as we called it. That was actually one of the direct teams I worked with. They hired me especially because of my Mac experience, because the Windows world is huge. I know Windows like the back of my hand, but Mac I know very well. Like I've been to Cupertino. I went to not the new campus, but when Jobs was alive, I knew I had connections in there from. I worked at a place before Apple stores called the Mac Center. That was the Apple store on Commercial Boulevard before Apple stores were even out, and we had the contract for all Broward County school computers to service, and that was the #1 education customer for. It was like hardcore Mac, and also Apple Care's 3 years. You can get, or you have your 1 year and you can get an extra 2 years. They got 5. Ooh. Yeah, so Apple made changes, and you had direct lines of contact to Apple. You do when you're at that level. You have the ability to call, and they can make software changes. Like you report a bug to Apple or whatever, but you don't end up having, like, you have a million channels to go through. I have one I'm doing right now that I know it's an actual bug that they're saying is supported. It's not, and I want them to acknowledge that, but we'll see. If I'm just a consumer now. I'm just a consumer. But you call them from the school system, you paying them bills for Apple, they're gonna fix some stuff. Very interesting to see dominance and power, if you will, or whatever, but just the power of the purse, power of the purse. But yeah, so I moved on from that company though. I was doing tri-rail, like up to over 3.5 hours total travel a day because of the way you have to transfer and stuff. But I started learning Spanish, and I ain't Spanish, but I could look it, so I figured, hey, let me just learn it. And I learned a lot of Spanish and Brazilian Portuguese too. It's cool. That's not bad. Yeah, I had a little netbook because they didn't have phone. The iPhone came out while we were working there, But long story short, it was just time to move on for me, and I kind of just blew it up. I had my place. I started doing my thing. My mom had passed away in that time too, towards the end, and that did clearly affect me. If you're close with a parent, that's going to affect you, right?
Of course, yeah.
So
definitely.
it kind of affected me to where that was almost a release too in and of itself. But I kind of got into a little functional depression. I think we all kind of fall into those things.
Mhm.
Sometimes eating whatever, I didn't care, this, that. I'm remodeling my condo. This, I was finishing a master's degree as well, which I ended up not wanting to really finish. I still could, but said I need to pause that as well, and just basically started really like thinking about, okay, well, there's my condo board, there's this neighborhood, they're building all these buildings around here,
right?
Man, this is cool. And then coming back to that my mom, growing up in that community thing, these neighborhoods are in that community vibe that she's talking about. We can make a change, we could do something. And this is where Flagler was on that cusp of this new wave of development, which to this day right now is still happening here.
It is
billions of dollars right in this small little couple acres proper neighborhood,
Yo, so I wanted to ask you, Dylan, what's like, when it comes to running nonprofits, people want to know, because some people want to start their own nonprofits and they want to become involved in their community and just do something to, make them feel good as being part of a society almost. What are your favorite things about the nonprofits and just the pros and cons?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and there's definitely pros and cons. But yeah, just from a personal standpoint, I like that there's kind of a group ownership in a nonprofit opportunity. Each nonprofit's a little different, but in general, it's a cause for the common good of society. Something we're doing. That is the general nonprofit. Actually, it is defined in the IRS code. 501c3.
Is that what would you say that's what drives you? Like Rico asked earlier, like is that what drives you? Is the collectiveness, or
that's where my mom with that big tent, like it's a community, it's collective. We're here. I mean, she's not putting 100,000 people inside of her house, not like that, but it's the same type of energy with that, the same type of mindset. Let's bring that together. So Mass District, I say we all are Mass District. Clearly we have roles, we have things and responsibilities. Duh, of course. That's how something's going to function. But we all have a piece of that, and that's why I think it inspires some people, everybody that gets involved in different ways. Things don't always end the easiest way with some people. That's cool. That's life. Same for me. I have to go through things. Everybody does. But that's the general kind of piece.
I like that. You said we are Mass District. That should be like a
new shirt coming. New shirt coming.
Come on now.
Oh man, think of a new shirt every other day, bro.
We need it, man. We need it.
Your thing is limitless boundaries.
Right.
Yes,
I
that's
wanted to talk about that.
Yeah, that's your stuff, bro.
Go.
And I want you to kind of tell us or explain to us, what is it? And you explained the name to me one time, and I thought it was really, really, it had a lot of depth. And I really appreciate it. I want to see if you can talk about it.
Yes, please. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So this idea of limitless boundaries, and first of all, it's a long name. I am not a long name guy. It has to be that way. It just happens. Every single company that limitless boundaries from the business side, because that could be beyond business. It could be personal too, and there's a big piece for me on that of that name. But the personal, the company side is Digital Liberation. That's long. Oasis Collaborative. That's long. And Zamo Enterprises. That's long. Why do and now limitless boundaries. Like, what else, bro? Like, what else can be long? I do have a little partnership company called DEC. Shout out to my boys Eric and Camilo. DEC Dylan Eric Camilo Partners. That's quick. I like that one. It's quick.
I mean, because it's an acronym. We break down the acronym.
Mass District. Mass is a little shorter. That's good. Yeah. So maybe I need to acronym the companies. But anyway, so these companies are starting, and honestly, one of the ways that the limitless boundaries kind of came up in my head before it got words to it was just I had an email for every company, and I'm like checking a million emails. I'm like, bro, this is crazy. Like, what am I doing? I'm like, one, now two companies, now three, now this. Let me kind of like parent, get a little umbrella or something. And I'm the parent company kind of guy, right? I'm doing that. So let me use those, and all those emails, you can have them. They just route, this is the tech stuff, but I'll route those emails to just auto route to my one email. Thank the Lord, Mass is different. I don't want to mix that because Mass, of course, is its own. We are Mass, right? We are.
We are.
So that's fine. But hey, if I got a personal email, my work email, and a Mass work email, that's three. I'm good as gold, man. I'm down for that, bro. Because I was like 8 emails in, and every day you're supposed to be checking that. Nah, bro. That needs to stop. That's crazy. So limitless boundaries finally got a name though, and I had just this thing in me that I believe in, and this is kind of me, especially in the exec director role of Mass too. Really, this is like a kind of struggle, like not a struggle, but a a constant thing that I have to wrestle with, and attention, that's the word. There's a tension there. And the tension is, I call it the art and the math, or language and math. So the black and white and the color. Like, we have skeletons, we have frames, we have this, but then you could shape your muscles. You can get your muscles bigger. You don't really grow bones, you know, but you can grow your muscles. So muscles could be one side, and the foundation could be the other side with the skeleton, you know, and that kind of thing. So I don't know. Somehow I just started thinking, okay, so things start with creativity. You want to be creative. You want to express yourself. Be free. But even doing that, you still have to put, if you're a painter, you got, for example, you have to put paint on a canvas. And the canvas is what? It's a limited space. No matter how big you make it, it's limited. You can maybe make a story and say, I'll paint a canvas here, I'll paint a canvas there. But still, it's a canvas. It's a canvas. It's a canvas.
And you know, can still connect canvases together, but it's still...
And this, for me, in my faith as a Christian, this is where I believe God's design, it's inescapable. God has, he created things that are limited, but you get creative within it, you know, and that is the way we work. So we also talk about discipline, right? So that's a more black and white thing. Discipline is black and white. You don't have feelings. You know, you can program your feelings into discipline, but you know, shout out to Kobe, you know, Mamba mentality. Yes. My man would say, hey, you either get it done or you don't. I mean, that's it. Right. It don't matter how you feel. Right. And something I learned about motivation and feelings and stuff is that even if you don't get it in the beginning, like, I don't feel like working out today, you know, well, you know, if you go work out, you'll get a good feeling at the end. Right. You know, you'll get it still. Right. You don't do it for it though. That was the whole thing. That's the Mamba mentality. One aspect of it for me is you need to get in and put that work in. You know? Right. And even if you ain't feeling it, you know, you make yourself go. You know, and that's a black and white thing. That's not necessarily art. Art is very, you feel it. I got inspiration. It's not as inspirational. Doesn't mean you don't have inspiration, but it's just recognizing these two like silos of the way we interact with the real world, you know? So then I thought limitless, but boundaries. And this is my explanation that you probably remember, is that if I have water and I want to get from point A to point B water, and I just say it's a tabletop, and I just take the water and I start pouring it, I'll get some water from point A to point B, but that water's going to trickle around everywhere. It's going to fall. But if I take maybe you know, carve into that wood. If it's a wood table, for example, I can carve into that wood and make kind of a path. And now I've created some boundaries, but I've gotten all of the water from point A to point B now. Okay. And this is the life.
So I definitely want to get into some fun questions. Bro, all right. What is 3 things that you would like to learn a skill in, right? Adopt a skill, whatever, that you think will make you a better person?
Ooh, wow.
And it could be fun. It have to be that. Like, if you ask me, for me, I love to take salsa classes. I think taking salsa classes may be fun, you know, in a room with people, and then I think that would be cool. You know?
Bro, are you crazy? I mean, you're not crazy. That's crazy. I literally just said the next girl that I'm like with, we're gonna make an effort to do salsa dance.
Really?
Classes. Yes.
Oh wow.
Or you're just taking my answer?
Yeah. So, but bro, I was about to say that. It was.
I should let him answer.
Yeah. But there is a place, Ramada Inn, down here. I think they still do. I took some lessons a long time ago over there. I'm like, that would be an awesome way to build a relationship. And just build something neat and all that. Yeah. And that could apply to other types of lessons. Perhaps.
That's how my cousin met his wife. He was there.
Yeah.
Salsa dancing.
He went to a random class. Bro, now they have a 10-year-old. It's crazy. I'm like, bro, must have been a good salsa, bro.
That's what's up.
That's nuts, bro. But I also would love to learn, I'm saying, to play guitar or to speak Portuguese, bro.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think I'll be good, bro.
Down. Yeah.
I mean, it's only 3 things. It's not crazy.
So that's one.
Yeah, that's
one. What's the other?
So another one that just popped in my head was wakeboarding or like water skis. Yeah. I would love to. So one time I was in Missouri and the big Lake of the Ozarks up there. We were up there going, and we were all trying to get up on it, and I did get up on it for a little, because you lay down with the board up, and then they start going. You kind of got to like pivot yourself up, and then you go. And I kind of did it for like a little bit, and then fell, and then I could. I would love to get back on that. That would be a fun one. So a little water, a little land. We'll do land with dancing. Yeah. Some water with the wakeboarding and water skis and all that. And those are 2 different types, but they're similar, you know, in getting up on that.
All right. So
what's another one?
Number 3.
Learn to fly. Something with air? No. That'd be cool. Maybe one other thing that actually I've thought about a little bit too, which I think this could be really cool with creative, is in like, I've started to really think about some, seeing these videos, of training and working out and stuff. So I wouldn't say that I'll just be straight up a trainer, you know, but definitely I would be interested maybe in another life or another chapter or whatever to like do something with training, but really like affect the diet and all that stuff.
Okay.
Like, so like a holistic training thing. And it like, and, but it has to be like a class and just gets people going, something like that. We got salsa, team salsa.
Yeah.
Got a little wakeboarding thing going.
And some fitness.
And then some type of training endeavor with like a business and training.
That's awesome, dog. Yeah, that's awesome. Yo, Dylan, I want to ask you, if you could learn one language, what would it be?
Yeah. So I would probably, I think I'd lean towards Italian just because it's different. But Chinese, I got you. We'll talk soon.
What would you be? What language you choose?
I mean, well, Spanish is
that's default.
I mean, yeah, it's in the blood, but let's see what other language. I don't know. Maybe I think maybe Mandarin too. Man.
Mandarin's a good one, man. They said that's gonna control the world pretty soon. And speaking geography, where would you travel?
Yeah, great question. Yeah. So Punjab in India, which the Punjab is an area, ancient land that is split in two. Since World War II, the England and all that, they created Pakistan, and Pakistan got a piece of the Punjab, and then India got a piece of the Punjab. My mixed biracial ethnicity is Punjabi and Irish. That's my two main ethnicities. Okay. So when I learned that's another whole podcast segment. But when I learned about that, I was like, whoa. So I grew up my whole life not knowing anything about why I look the way I look, all that kind of stuff. It was a lot. It was a lot, you know. But I said, man, I love to like. Then I learned that I was Punjabi because I did meet my biological father. Another whole story. But I learned I was Punjabi, and I was like, wow. And I started. I didn't grow up in any of that culture. I'm an American,
right.
You know, culture person, South Florida culture, you know, that kind of thing. Well, South Florida culture. That's a very loaded statement. Okay. That's a very loaded statement. You know, but I grew up in America, I guess, right? You know.
I want to close up with these two questions, right? 2 questions. If you have questions, Rico, you could go to. All right. In 3 words, I want you to describe Matt's district. And what would you tell young entrepreneurs that, you know, they want to kind of get some shine and some love?
Yeah, absolutely.
And build a clientele.
Absolutely. So 3 words. We got a lucky number 3.
Yeah.
3 strikes, you're out? No. So, I have words for that, for sure. It would be create, plan, go.
Create, plan, and go.
So you're going to create. That's the inspiration. That's the beginning. You're going to plan it out. There's probably another word we could use, but you guys get the drift of what I'm saying. You're going to plan it. You're going to put some business together for that. That's the business side. So it's a creative business type thing, right? And then you're going to go with it.
Oof. Okay. I like that.
Create, plan, go.
I like that.
Plan. Yeah, let's plan. You win. Plan.
You know, I thought you were going to say something way more generic and boring, like passion. You know, determination. But no, bro, those 3 words, as simple as they sound, they should be the formula to anything you're trying to do.
That's formula. Okay, that's a good word. It's
great,
I have a formula phrase.
Formula, go.
No. The formula overall. My phraseology is a formula type thing.
It is.
We have a lot of formula based word. I like that. But yeah, it's a formula thing. Yeah. So, and then to encourage, it was entrepreneurs and people growing and all that. Yeah, I would say, man, I just saw a video and it really spoke to me. This guy was talking about grind don't stop, you know that saying. He was talking about men just people nowadays just wearing themselves down.
That's so true.
And he talked about couples, and he says like it's always the lady opening the door and the man is on a rocker or something. He's talking to See the God, right? Solomon the God. He was in whatever podcast he was, and it really made me think because we're all about hustle, let's go, you know, and it's fun to say that, but grind actually is to wear down. I don't know if I want to wear down. I got enough crow's feet, and I'm not even a girl, but you know, I got crow. And it makes you think, right? Bro. So there is the energy and the push. I don't think we want to quench that. Like we want that to continue, but again, we want to channel that. We want to put some boundaries,
correct,
and go to sleep at night, bro. You know, like, and we know we go to sleep, but you know, so there might be some nights. Like I'm not the biggest fan of when we like say life is balance. Let's always get a balance, and like balance must mean you have to tip the scales equally. I understand that, and I get that, and I'm not against that, but I think it's okay to do a little of this at times and do a little of that. I think you have to when you're trying to innovate and push change and do something, you know? So I like that, but it has to be still regulated, still put in its place, even if this next month it's going to be, several days. Like in my training right now, that's a great example. My training, I'm going hard, like really like on it, but I know I'm cutting weight. I have a purpose for that. I'm not just doing. I ain't gonna do that for 20 years of my life. Maybe, hey, knock on couch, no. But no, I mean,
it's for a season.
I want to. I know I'm doing it for a purpose to get. I want to see my abs again, bro.
Right.
I was down to like a good strong 4-pack. Then final 2 were coming in, and then whatever happened in life, COVID, all that craziness. So anyways, I would just say to bring it back, how do we make sure that as we're endeavoring now, because when you go in that entrepreneurial world, you have to answer everything. I got to pay the bills. I got to get the bank. I got to do this. And you might be able to answer it now. Can we delegate? How much in things are you and on things are you, right? So you're in the weeds, but then you got to also see things from like a 40,000 foot view to know where you're going to go in the years ahead, like that. So I would just say to really order your steps is a big one. I'm trying to really hit it at that core level because it's easy to say, go grind, man, get it, fuel your passion, do that. All of that, we get that. I don't think there's much to say. Why would you even be doing this if you didn't have that already? Right. So that's already given. That's like a given. Yeah. I don't need to tell someone, get passionate, you want to be in this.
True.
But it's more so, how do you channel that? Like, there's this guy, Dave Ramsey. You guys might have heard of Dave Ramsey. Better Than I Deserve. I love one time, I was listening to one of his shows, and someone called in and said, hey, listen, I'm coming up on like $1 million right now. And Dave's immediate answer, like he's like, what do you think I should begin to do to handle myself with this kind of money? And Dave's answer, I loved his answer. He says, go slow. It didn't mean to never spend the money, or it just meant you have that much money. It's very easy. Shaq tells this story. If you ever hear Shaq's story, he got broke because he went and bought the car. Then he went, he got home. He said, his dad said, where's my car? Where's his friend? He just blew it all. Oh, it's great. When you have that much money, you can open yourself to so much. And unfortunately, and fortunately, both sides of the coin, I have, I don't want to say blowing money, but these were thought through decisions. Actually, let me say this. We use the word mistake a lot, but there is really a difference between a mistake and a bad decision. Mistake is I'm cutting a carrot and I actually cut my finger. That's just a mistake. I mistook my steps, but a bad decision has way more weight to it. I thought through things, I calculated things, and still I might have just made not the best decision on how I did it, or I thought through, I see this girl, I see that, and I chose this. I shouldn't have chose that. And the reason why that's important to call, and that's a big thing I feel with limitless boundaries too, or just in general of life, is mistakes. And it could be a semantics thing, I understand that, but people say, I made a mistake. A made a mistake kind of automatically gets you in like an accident thing. No, you thought through that, you made a bad decision. You need to own that and sit in that. You need to sit in that for a little bit. And that's something that I think is really overlooked in today's day. Wow. It's such a trophy society. It's like, oh, bad mistake, whatever. No, bro, you made a bad decision. Think through it. So with money and that and entrepreneurial stuff, we really have to think and go a little slow in some of these. Have a soft space. You might be a gun to your head. You might be pressed against the wall. You have to do something. I understand that. Diamonds are forged in pressure. I get that. But you can always figure out time to just sit and have a little, like, man, if it's like crazy, we get a phone text message or whatever, and people will blow me up within an hour if I'm not responding. And I finally got it combed down to where, like Gmail has an undo send feature now, because email is so fast. Maybe now we actually slow it a little. Because maybe, oops, I shouldn't have sent it yet. So it's funny how things can be so fast. So it's like, even though I might not respond within an hour, if I respond in an hour, that's still faster than snail mail. Right? It's still faster anyway. So that's a good mode of thinking. So ultimately it would be not the fashion. You're already here for that. We know you're there for that. But just order your steps, think through things a little to plan. And get that, and then if money comes in, what does that look like? I have made some not the best decisions with money, and they were businesses. I mean, business, not like I went and blew it on bottles at a club. I actually did, and it still just wasn't the best. And I kind of lost some of that money. But then I also made some money where I did put the money in. So it goes those ways. So you got to order that stuff. So maybe just the real thing is order your steps. That might be the easiest way to say it. Order your steps, because you can really unpack that.
I was gonna say, bro, you touched two things there. Well, one thing, but I was gonna recap. It's almost like the first answer was almost the same one to the second answer. Create, plan, and go. in a more slower way, and you know, say more compact way.
That's the marketing way, the formula way.
Yeah, that's the formula. But I love what you said, bro, about somebody actually slowing down and take care of their steps. Another thing you said that
and by the way, that applies to me every day. Limitless boundaries, the art of discipline. I'm trying my best. Right. I need so much work on that, you know. And thank the Lord. Yeah, we're all in there, man. And
that's the balance thing you talked about. That's why we all need work. And when you say something about,
sometimes you might have to go like that, and it's
almost like you're balancing a ball in the middle. You're not tipping the scales. If you balancing something in the middle, you need to do this so it stays. That's in the middle.
Right. Just to actually do it. Just seesaw.
It's a seesaw, right? Okay. Maybe that's what the life balance is.
That's the way to.
That's the way, you know. It's not tipping the scales to make them even. It's to balance the thing in the middle, so it doesn't get off of the seesaw.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
level yourself out. That's another way I would say, like, you level yourself out. Yeah. But in order to level yourself out,
sometimes you gotta make risk.
You have to seesaw, bro. Man. We got Dylan in the house, bro. The executive director of Mass District, bro. So I just want to say thank you for sitting down with us. Yes. Thank you for providing us a space to go ahead and create this podcast and pop-up. I don't think we thanked you enough for that, bro. That was a really cool thing you did for us, you know, as our first pop-up. And
that's a special moment, guys.
Yes, it is.
That's the moments, you know, the moments, man. It's so easy to get in the weeds. You need that little moment, man. It's been like cutting the ribbon on something, on a business or something, you know. You need that moment. Yeah. We know some people who don't cut the ribbons. Like, no, you got to get that moment.
You got to cut the ribbon. Get it in slow-mo as they depart, you know what I mean? But
and let's just give a quick shout-out. Phil, Canvas Films, my guy.
Phil.
Helping us out always, man.
I definitely give him a shout-out on the other block that we did.
We did.
That's
Phil,
what's up.
Right, Chris.
I told him how, like, you know, it was, because I explained to the people how the weather got kind of bad.
Yeah.
And you went ahead and called Phil, and he was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Tell him come inside and I'm saying do the podcast. So thanks to him and his crew, we were able to come in and, you know, just give you guys some stuff. So I won't hold you guys no longer. This has been Podcasting Pop-Up, man. We sat with the incredible Dylan. My name is Randy.
Hey, this is Rico, and we always talk to what? Everyday amazing people.
Yes, sir.
What's up?
Salute. Thank you, guys.